Hi guys, this video is about image resolution and in particular PPI, pixels per inch. Of course you can use PPC, pixels per centimetre, but for this exercise I will use PPI as this video is in English and most of the English speaking world still uses inches. I will also use pixel density, which is essentially the same as PPI or PPC. Image resolution does not have a definitive meaning. The most accurate description I know of is the amount of detail an image can show. For an image on a display, resolution is about physical dimensions in pixels of the image, bit depth, the amount of colours the screen can display, the colour space of the image. There's also the distance away from the display you view the image from. This distance factor has become very important in this new world of high pixel density screens, like Apple's Retina screens. Small screens like those on phones need to have a high pixel density as they are viewed closer to the eye. How many PPI, pixels per inch, an image possesses has no effect when viewing an image on a display. The PPI an image possesses does not affect the quality or size when viewed on a screen. I repeat, the PPI an image possesses does not affect the quality or size when viewed on a screen. What matters is the PPI of the screen the image is displayed on, not the image's PPI. It can be difficult to grasp and I struggle with the notion at first. The confusion arises from the fact that a display also has a PPI measurement, which is set in the display preferences of a computer's operating system, therefore making the PPI or pixel density fixed unless you make round trips to the settings in your operating system, which most of us rarely do. Just remember, a screen's PPI is fixed. Without using math here, there is a relationship between a display's physical dimensions in inches or centimetres and the display's pixel dimensions. It's quite possible for a phone display to have the same pixel dimensions as a desktop display. Logically, the phone display would have a higher pixel density as its physical size is much smaller. This is because it needs to be viewed closer to the eye. Even if you don't understand why an image's PPI is irrelevant when viewed on a display, take heart in the fact you can put what PPI you like in the resolution section of the image size dialog box in Photoshop or the imaging sizing dialog box in Lightroom's export settings. It will not affect the quality in any way when viewed on a screen. If you think you can override my display's PPI with your image's PPI, you're delusional. Let's start off with this image here. I'm going to go to a keyboard shortcut, Command-Alt-I or Control-Alt-I on a PC. As I'm on a Mac, it's Command-Alt-I to go to image size. It's currently at 4272 by 2136 with a resolution of 1. So all this time, this image has been at 1 PPI. Now, if I reset the resolution here to 300, of course, it's going to change the image. And it's not making sense because it's actually 300,000 by 300,000 and it was a 2:1 ratio. This is because I set the resolution first. Now, if I was to bring this back down to its original size of 4272 by 2136, it's gone back to being a 52.2 megabyte file, which it was at 1 PPI. And to prove the point again, I'll bring it down to 1 PPI. It's resized it, 14 pixels by 7 pixels. It's now gone from 52.2 megabytes to 588 bytes, very small indeed. If I change this back to 4272, you can see it's gone back to a 52.2 megabyte file. Now, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to pick an arbitrary amount like 10. Resize it, 4272. Back to its original dimensions of 4272 by 2136 at 10 PPI, and I'm now going to go OK on this. The image won't change at all. As I said, When viewed on a screen, it makes no difference. And just to prove a point here, I'll zoom into 100% by using Command 1 or Control 1 on a Mac or a PC, respectively. You can see nothing wrong with this image. It's exactly as it was when I viewed it at 300 PPI. And please don't use DPI when you're talking about anything to do with screens. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So again, use 72 PPI if you wish, or use 1 PPI. It doesn't make any difference. The reason I use 1 PPI is if someone were to lift my image off from the web and try and print it, it wouldn't print out very well. That's the only reason I use it. And plenty of my images are out there with 1 PPI buried into them, and it doesn't make any difference. 72 PPI came about from the early days of Apple monitors, which are all 72 PPI. Even back in those days, it made no sense whatsoever to use 72 PPI when outputting to a screen. It's pointless. So it's a hangover from the Apple days. And I said it's not crucially important when you output to a screen. So use whatever you want. Of course, when you go to a printer, that's totally different, because that's what the PPI is there for. It's for when you output to a printer. And the basic premise is you're saying to a printer, try and represent 300 pixels in an inch on a piece of paper. There's no one-to-one relationship between a pixel and a dot. It's far too complex than that. Far too complex. And simplifying it down to just, 1 pixel must equal 1 dot is wrong, because every printer is different and it's a very complex process, and it's difficult to show it in an image size dialog box because on screens you're only dealing with pixels. So what Adobe and other image editing software providers are trying to show you is, look, to get 300 pixels of detail on a piece of paper, put that amount in. But it's not a one-to-one relationship. I hope this has cleared some things up for you guys. I see so many videos and so many people going on about 72 PPI and about if I drop my PPI, I drop the integrity of the image on the screen. It's rubbish. I hope you found this useful, guys. Thank you.